Welcome back to Keep Expecting Miracles. I am Ilissa.
And I'm Jessica.
How are you doing, Jessica?
I'm well. I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm doing good today. I'm happy that we are back and we have our
Yes.
first episode that launched last week. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm super excited and I feel like we have are coming off of a high or still on the high of creating something and sharing it with everybody. I think that's really what it is like, yay, we did it. We created something. You have to excuse my voice. I went to Disney this past weekend, so I am hoarse. I'm like, no, I have to record my voice. It sounds crazy, but it's all right. It's okay. I'm drinking my tea. But how are you doing, Jessica?
Yeah. Yeah, it's okay. I'm good. Yes, I know that. I was so happy when we launched on 11/11. It was magical. It was great. We cannot say that it went off without a hitch because it did. It didn't.
It did not.
But
Yeah.
yeah, things were fixable, and it's the one thing that I didn't tell you was that we are now in the shadow of Mercury retrograde. So, that affects technology and makes things go a little slower. And so I'm like, we could chalk it up to that. Started on November 7th. And it's okay. It's okay because we uh, actively manifested something that we've been wanting to manifest for a long time.
We saw it came. We saw we've are it's in fruition now. We are seeing it
Hmm.
in real time happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
speaking to somebody earlier this morning, and it was I was explaining, like, once we made a decision and agreement, like, this is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to do it. Everything literally started just coming to us, like, oh, we can do this. Oh, we can do it this way. It was like
Hmm.
once our brain opened, it was like a pathway opened up for things to
Hmm.
for ideas to come, things to happen, and we just made it work. We just
Yeah.
did it. So I'm so excited and I'm happy, and yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's true. It's when everything aligns, it just seems like that's like the go ahead. That is the heavenly, like, okay, keep going. You're in the right direction. So
yes.
I'm
Yes.
glad that that's worked out.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. We will get right into our I am segment. That is a segment, of course, where it represents the divine goddesses that we are. I am, I am a
Mhm.
goddess. I am a mother. And so it'll be topics that have to do with our self care, just celebrating our divineness and how we maintain that, how we upkeep that, how we are connected spiritually. So, the topic for today is communing with ancestors,
Mm,
for self care and healing. So
yeah.
that is a topic, or that came up during our retreat that we went on, in particular after we started working with our the healer that was introduced to us down there, Sylvia. And of course, like, we know that we are supposed to honor our ancestors as Black people, like, pour one for the homies, like, that that's something like, okay, let me pour some out. But you don't
Mhm.
really, that's not really what we do. Like, it's not actively practiced.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, tell us a little bit more about that, Jessica.
Yeah. So, I mean, we both have had our experiences where um, we have, well, you know what? Because I know you don't like to see things. And so the way that my ancestors have communed with me is literally through sight. Okay.
I'm a scaredy cat, y'all. I'm a scaredy cat. I don't want to see nothing. Like, I'm perfectly fine with knowing, my intuition. I don't want to see anything. But Jessica, her gift is seeing, which is good. It's awesome.
Yes, and I don't mind it. There was a time that I did where I was just like, why is this happening to me? Because this is weird. No one's going to believe me. And now I'm like, show me more. What else do you
Mhm,
have for me? I'll see something, and by seeing something, I'll be more specific, especially to stay on topic when we're talking about communing with ancestors. I'll bring up my grandma Carmen. She
mhm,
is one of my ancestors because she has passed on,
mhm,
and she comes to me physically. Um, and sometimes it may just look like a shadow. Sometimes it
mhm,
may be a scent. I know that she also comes to my mom, which is her daughter, as well as my sister,
mhm,
as a moth. Because
mhm,
she actually told my mother, just like in the Moana movie, when Moana's grandmother said, "I'm going to come back to you as a stingray." My grandmother said she was going to come back as a moth. This psychic that I met one day, who I didn't pay her for anything. She
mhm.
was just like, I have to tell you something. And she was like, you have a grandmother who's from Jamaica and she passed away. And I was like, yes. And,
Mhm.
she's like, telling me, oh, she wants you to know you get your herbal skills from her. And I was just like, what?
Right,
And she
right.
went on and on about different things that describe my grandmother.
Mhm,
And so, like, at first I was like, number one, how does she know that literally I was asking that question that week? So I already knew, okay, she's legit. Number two, she's receptive and open because like, that's not, that's, you can close off your energy so that you don't feel an impression.
right,
But like,
right,
she was just open and ready to serve,
right.
which I thought is very good, very pure of her, very nice and light of her. And of course, it was a message that I really needed at that time.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. That
I know your messages have come differently.
Yes, well, to go back to Sylvia in particular, when I got back home, I mean, it probably was months later. I had another session with her virtually. I mean, it sounds really weird to do a virtual session with somebody, the spiritual healing, but it was mind blowing because she did an Akashic records. And I don't know if for those of you who are not familiar with an Akashic records reading, it's when the healer or the medium taps into ancient records that are on another realm or another plane, and it's all the energy and all the information that's stored about us, the universe, the beings that we are. And so she was able to tell me about my family and tell me about the journey that my family took, and the ancestors, my ancestors and their journeys. And so she obviously, I had questions, and so that was, you obviously, you go with the questions. And so one of my main dilemmas was, I have gotten into a career that I love. I want to continue to grow. Obviously, I have a goal of becoming a midwife one day, but I also would like to start a business. How do I do that? Where do I start? What is it? I had a block. It was like I didn't know where to start. I didn't know what to do. I had insecurities. It was a block for me. And then obviously, when you study, I mean, and have the careers that I've had, you don't just, sometimes to just quit everything and start a business and not be making any money is a lot. I mean, obviously, I did not do that, but there was a block for me that she said that I had to remove. And in order for me to remove that, she had me build an altar with my ancestors on it, with the people that have passed away in my family. And she said that some of my ancestors, I mean, obviously we are all descendant of slaves, but some of my immediate ancestors, like great grandparents, and before that, and even some aunts and uncles, great aunts and great uncles, felt stuck in their jobs and their work life, and they never had the freedom to start businesses or be free to even have the choice to be free and do what they wanted to do. And if I me building an altar with their pictures on it, things that they might have that they liked in this, in while living, and not even praying to them, not even, it's something as simple as telling them, when you go into to where you build your altar at, when you look at the pictures, just say you're free. Just speaking, I'm getting chills saying that. Just speaking the words, you are free. I'm freeing you. You're free. We're freed. And the chills are coming up in my entire body, because and that is literally healing your ancestors, healing your lineage, giving yourself the permission to be free in your thinking, be free from the chains of, I'm stuck in a system where I'm just working. I'm not fulfilling any of my dreams. I'm not taking care of the thing of the need to create, because I'm stuck. And that was very, very powerful. Very, very powerful for me. And within me doing that, I probably did that for a month straight, just lighting candles. I would do a yoni steam, right in the same area that my altar was, and I would say a prayer to the Lord. I would be very thankful, and I would just say, "You're free. You're free." I would say thank you to them. Thank you for paving the way before me. Thank you for, you know, giving, my family members the opportunities that you've given them, and sacrificing, and I set them free. And I can't, I really wish I remember the months, but I just remember before the end of that year, like it was probably in September or October, before the end of by the end of that year, which was 2022, I had filed for my LLC, and I created my business, and everything just like opened up. Pathways opened
That's
up. My
amazing.
opportunities opened up. Like I had
Hmm.
started to do markets, and it was just boom, 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 boom. This, and this. It was just like,
Hmm.
oh, I don't have to stay working for somebody. Oh, I can generate revenue by just creating. I
Hmm.
can, I do have options. I do have freedom. I do have choices. And
Right.
so, yeah, that has really helped. And I mean, I continue to have that same practice, and it
Hmm.
obviously we're able to manifest this podcast and work, and have the freedom to create this. So I'm very grateful for Sylvia for encouraging me to do that. um
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
That's, I think, the best part about it is that when we do this, what you did was very intentional,
Mhm.
versus what I described was, out of happenstance, just, without necessarily searching deliberately, right?
Mhm.
Um, Working intentionally to commune with the ancestors, I feel is very important. And
Mhm.
that's something that I have been working to keep in mind a little more often, which is why I think my grandmother was like, hello, let me
Right,
speak
like,
to this lady straight to you right now.
right, like, you don't think this is me? You don't think you can get this from me?
Right.
Because you do.
Yeah. Yes. Um, but it's the doors that opened for you wasn't just for you. It also opened doors for me because you told me the ideas and you were like, hey, do this and this and that.
Yeah.
Like, this is what I'm doing. You should look blah blah blah. And I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
And it helped
Yeah.
me as well as all the people who ordered from you when you were like, oh, I'm doing this. And yeah, girl, I got orders. Like, they're ordering here. And I'm like, I don't even have no website. And I'm like, why? Like, you don't have you don't have anything. And people are wanting to experience your products. It was
Yeah.
like the practice of doing that unlocked a door for you.
Yeah.
Um, and it's just, it's like a new pathway that
Yeah.
you've stepped into,
Yeah.
and you can go as fast or as slow as you want to. The most important part was that you took that step to
Yes.
get in it. I
Yes.
love that.
Yes.
I think I also want to I want to say that there are people that may have and do think of communing with the ancestors as something that is um, almost blasphemous or against God.
Mm.
Um, and for me, that's something I'm someone who really does take into account what people say and what people think.
Mhm.
And, I
Mhm.
don't want someone to think evil of me or think that I'm this or, thinking bad about me. It does affect me.
Mhm.
And of course, as I've gotten older now, like, hello, I'm on this podcast with you talking about this stuff
Yes.
that I never thought that I would ever do.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but I just have to say to people who are like me, who have these experiences, who care, about what other people think, it's like, um, it can't be something that someone has any room to judge us about,
Right.
to say that it is not of God,
Right.
because in my experience, and even in your experience, because Sylvia is the one that told you these things. So they came to Sylvia.
Right.
Sylvia knew what to do. She
Right.
listened to them. They knew the best way for you to reach them, how to release them, how to, to bring them in and everything. And if it wasn't of God, that wouldn't happen. And
Mhm.
it would be in a much darker way.
Mhm.
It wouldn't be in the way that it is.
Yeah.
And so I just communing with the ancestors is very much light being, very much um, a godly thing to do,
Yeah.
I feel.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and I was so simultaneously. So my whole purpose for going on the retreat that we went on was to heal my womb. I wanted to heal myself
Hmm.
of fibroids.
Hmm.
So I was doing this simultaneously, which is why I said I was doing the yoni steams at the same time, because so that not only it unlocked my block to create a business, but I created a tea blend, several tea blends and yoni steam blends, herbal blends to heal myself.
Hmm.
Okay. I turned that into the business. That is what I use. That is what my business is. And so it's like I am not only healing myself, but I'm sharing it with other people.
Hmm.
It how is that not of God? How is
Right.
that not of God? And I'm the same way. I am thinking about the people right now in my mind who might have an issue with us talking about this. But at the same time, I know I'm not a devil worshiper.
Hmm.
I know
Hmm.
I'm not evil. Like, so
Hmm.
we all know who is. So
Hmm.
we as we get older, I think that's the thing is as I get older, people are going to think what they want to think. They're going to have an opinion
Yeah.
whether or not we're on here saying this or not.
Yeah.
And I have to be who I am,
Hmm.
point blank and period.
Yeah, exactly. That's true. And all native cultures, in all native cultures, they have practices, different
Hello.
rituals where you commune with the ancestors.
Hello. Hello. And that was stripped away from us.
Yeah.
That was, and the thing is our ancestors obviously are the strongest ones because we're here today.
Mhm. Mhm.
We are here today. And they want us now that I'm more connected. The more people that I come in contact with that do that type of work, they always say they want us to talk to them. They want to
Right.
help us. They want
Mhm.
to open doors for us. I don't know if you want to share this about one of your friends' mothers. I remember you told me like some people are so happy to be out of this realm, if especially if they're suffering on earth. Now they can help their people. They can
Mm.
open more doors for us in
Mhm.
another realm. when
Yeah.
they're not alive. I know that's a crazy thing to think about, but sometimes they are more of a help. And I have seen it in so many situations for people that have passed away within the last 2 or 3 years. It's just like there's no way. There's no way. We give all glory to God, but we know that these people that we were connected to, they were alive here, we knew them, and now there is a connection. There is an awareness, there is a connection.
Yeah, no, that's true. And I don't mind sharing. Um because I don't know, it probably helps some people.
Yeah.
But it was a dream that I had. I do a lot of, I guess you can call it dream work, where sometimes I'm not actively looking for this connection.
Mhm.
That's the thing about me, is that I don't go looking. Now it's different. Now I am like, okay, guy, you look, you have this person come to me, you have that come to me. Like, what else is out there for me?
Yeah.
But I was, of course, having this dream, and a dear friend's mother had passed away. And in the dream, it felt so real because I felt like I needed to hug him. And I was
Mm.
like, I don't hug him. I was like,
Mhm.
why do I need to
Mhm.
hug this man?
Mhm. Mhm.
So
Mhm.
I'm like, I'm not about to hug him. So in the dream, I hug him, right? And he
Mm.
falls on top of me. And it's like his whole body weight is just loaded like on me. And I'm like, oh shoot, like I can't even stand it. He's just sobbing with this heavy grief. And I'm there like standing like strong, holding
Mm.
him.
Mm.
And then I close my eyes as I'm patting his back as he's crying in the dream. As I close my eyes, she comes in this beautiful dress. And she's, I want to say it's very angelic. So the
Mhm.
long, flowy white dress, she was, with her long black hair just glowing,
Mhm.
and was like so happy. And, she was like, Jessica, I need you to tell him it's okay. She told him, I'm trying to remember, that he needs to be okay with her moving on, because she said, I can help him more now than I ever could when I was in my body. Now I
Wow.
can do everything for him.
Wow.
And she also gave specific
Wow.
information about some stuff that he needed to do. And she was like, tell him that not to worry and do this and that, and everything's going to be okay. I promise. So I was
Wow.
like, okay. So I woke up and I texted her. I was like, hey, because Tabitha Brown inspired me. She was like, I get sick when I hold back my gift. And I was like, you know what? As me, as being a
Mhm.
sensitive person, I
Mhm.
noticed that I do. And I was
Mm.
like, maybe I'm not feeling well because I am holding myself back. So now I've
Wow.
started, hence the podcast. I've started to just be more open
Wow.
with this. And I texted him and I was like, hey, this is strange. I don't know if you are okay with this, but I have to tell you, your mother came to me. And he was
Wow.
open. He was like, yeah, tell me. Tell me,
Yeah.
like, I'm down for it. And, I let her know. I'm like trembling a little bit. My voice sounds weird.
No,
um,
no, it sounds good. Yeah, thank you for
okay.
sharing that. Thank you. That was
Yeah.
because in you sharing that with me, like that really helped me, even though obviously it wasn't, wasn't for me, but it helped me think about because me and Donnell have been living away from our family, and so family members have passed away the last couple of years, from whether it was from COVID related deaths or just old age, natural causes. We have not been able to grieve with our family. We have not been able to attend the funerals. We
I
have
did not
been,
realize that.
yeah, we it close family members.
Hmm.
I recently lost my grandmother at the beginning of this year, and I wasn't able to travel back home because the funeral was a month before I was supposed to give birth, and the flight
Hmm.
is 4 hours, almost 5 hours, plus the drive. So having to grieve away from your family of over people that have been close family members, like his aunt, his mom's sister passed away. So you sharing that with me, it helped me with my grief, and it helped me think about death in a different way, because obviously I do believe in life
Mm,
after death. I do believe in spirits. I do
yes.
believe in beings. And so and so now, even though my grandmother's death really did take a toll on me, I have a different feeling about it. Like I feel
Hmm.
her as somebody like, wow, I really have a stronger connection to her now, because she is an ancestor that I knew. We
Hmm.
talk about ancestors, and let's be honest with you, like, we don't know these people unless they were alive when, and we knew them. Like, even if they passed away when we were children, like, this is somebody that I knew all the way up until the age of 34. And so and Alea Lovely is somebody that we also follow, and she talks about being a spirit guide and a medium. But her grandmother was sick and in the hospital, and they knew that she was about to die. So she knew, like, okay, I need to, really formulate a strong spiritual connection with her right now. Like, let me tap into her right now, because this is an ancestor that I know I can tap immediately into when she passes away. And I always think about that, like, wow, I knew my grandma, like, I knew stuff about her. And so when I feel her essence, I am more reassured and know, like, that is her. I'm just gonna briefly share. I just thought about because I also do have dreams. Because I am a little bit scared, I think my dreams are a little bit more toned down, and they're palatable for me. I believe that's how it happens. Like, our
Hmm.
ancestors and God does not want they don't want to scare us. But it was for my daughter's birthday this year in April. The night before her birthday, I had a dream that I had a dream that I was looking at my daughter on her baby monitor sleeping in her crib. So I was awake looking at my daughter sleeping in her crib. So same setting, same house, me just looking at her sleeping. And then all of a sudden on the baby monitor, I see a spirit in the crib with her. I see my grandmother's spirit, like, and I don't even fully remember. I can't even describe to you how she looked, but it just felt beautiful. It felt loving, and
Mm,
it was like she was in there floating around her body. I'm getting chills
wow.
again, floating around her body while
Yeah.
she was sleeping, like she came to visit her for her birthday. And
Aw.
I just was just like, oh my goodness, like, it just made me feel like, oh, Grammy Polly's here
Hmm.
with us. We live all the way in Arizona. Our family lives in Florida. Like, that's where she passed away. That's where she was from. And it's just like, she's here. She's here with
Hmm.
me. And so, yeah, it's a beautiful thing to know that our ancestors really are with us, and it's not evil. It's not evil.
Right. Yeah, and that's so nice. And that's, I think, one of the major things here for our listeners is that, like you said, like, you can't necessarily say what she looked like.
Hmm.
Same with me. When I see my grandmother, or even my great grandmother on my father's side, she has come to me as well. And I knew both of these women when they were alive. We just can't, I can't, it's hard to describe what they look like, but it's
Yeah.
like, I think because we know what they felt like and how they made us feel,
Yeah.
it's easier to detect. So now
Yeah.
I wonder what ancestors are around us at certain times that we don't even
That
know.
we don't even know. Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
like we don't know what they feel like, but I am definitely grateful for, having stories like that. That's beautiful
Yes.
to, yeah, such a, and of course, I know that she knew you really missed her,
Yes.
and she knew exactly how to do it, how
Yes.
to show you, hey girl, I'm here.
Yes.
Always.
Yes. Yes.
Mhm.
And that, like you said, indigenous cultures practice some sort of ancestor veneration all the time, even at special
Mhm.
events. And so I'm gonna say this. now as a practice. Like you said, your grandmother's name, her name was Alma Woodson. We called her Grammy Polly. So thank you, Grammy Polly, for being here and being with us. And I know that you had something to do with us starting this podcast. So thank you. Um, but yeah, like that's something that moving to Phoenix, Arizona and being in that culture, obviously the indigenous culture is very prominent there. And so it's
Mhm.
me being in the birth working realm, there's always a basin and water for you to pour your ants, pour some water into the basin, and then they pour the water into a plant outside. They pour it outside afterwards if you're
Oh,
on an
that's nice.
inside event, and you speak your ancestor's name. So, and they
Wow.
start the event and they say, please partake in the ancestor veneration, and or
Mm.
you can go around the room and even say your ancestor's name. And I did that at my mama blessing. When I had my mama blessing ceremony, I chose to have a mama blessing instead of a baby shower, and ancestor veneration was on the program, and we did that. And everybody that attended, they shared, an ancestor, aka grandparent, or anybody that they wanted to
Mhm.
share, and it was beautiful. It was beautiful. So that is also another way that you can, commune with your ancestors, just saying their name,
Yes.
remembering them. My grandpa, he loves to chew toothpicks because he was a smoker, and so toothpicks was a way for him to stop smoking, and he would get
Mm.
cinnamon toothpicks and just chew on them. So every time I have a toothpick now, I'm like, oh hey grandpappy, just do,
Yeah.
eating things that they like, drinking things that they like, remembering them, celebrating them, even on their
Mhm.
birthdays, or it's just remembering our ancestors. That is
You know what?
communing. That is communing.
You reminded me about my grandfather on my mom's side.
Really?
Because I have not spoken his name much or um really thought about him as much. Um and I mean there are some reasons for it, but mostly it's because I stopped going to the store to buy soap. So he always smelled like Irish Spring soap.
What?
So when I used to go to the supermarket to buy soap, I'll pass through the soap aisle and I'm like, oh yeah, grandpa, but I'm not buying that soap. But hey, grandpa, and then
Yeah, yeah,
move on to
yeah,
what I would buy.
yeah,
And so now that I don't do that, I realize like, oh shoot, like I'm missing out on him.
yeah.
And speaking to him, which is important. I do have um I want to talk about this
Okay.
because maybe it's a point for healing. Um, I do have a grandfather on my dad's side
Hmm.
who didn't make me feel welcome as a child, um, who I think had a lot of internal struggles.
Hmm.
And I remember going to his funeral. He actually, my aunt, his daughter, actually told me that he passed away right when he was getting his papers to come to America from Jamaica.
Mm,
And like he had finally gotten it. And my grandmother was going to get on the plane and go, and he was going to be next.
mm.
Well, it was like, I don't know, a few days before he was supposed to come, he had a heart attack and died.
Wow.
And which, just means that was the end of his story. Unfortunately, it had a tragic ending to
Mhm.
what I believe now that I have this knowing and some insight on how the other side more than likely works.
Mhm.
He just needed to restart his life.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
he is one ancestor that I have not chosen to tap into, and I
Mm.
am completely blocked with receiving any sort of information from.
Okay.
Um, I don't know how to work with that. That's probably something I need to get with Sylvia about
Mhm.
because one thing that Sylvia helped me do, much like you, is releasing the pain of my grandmother,
Mhm.
where I was going through something that was similar happened in her lifetime.
Mhm.
And she came to me, let me know about it, In the last episode, I tell a story about how after meeting with Sylvia, she told me, you need to find out how your grandmother died because you don't know the truth.
Right.
I called my
Right.
mom, I find out the truth. And then my grandmother was with me in Costa Rica, like white on rice.
Yeah.
Every meditation we did, she was there. Like I'd be walking and Ilissa, it was like she was walking right next to me. And I'm
That's
like,
so
she's right here.
right.
And I'm like,
I remember you saying that one time, and I'm like, "What? Okay, okay, all right, Jessica. I'm gonna just sit over here."
no, like
Y'all, that's why
legit,
we was
like
separate. No, I'm just playing.
I know. Look, I'll be traveling with the ghosts.
Right, right.
But no, like legit, like I feel like if she could have embodied a body at that time, she would have
She would.
come to me in that body and been like, "Can we have a talk?"
Yeah.
And so you've always encouraged me to build altars. I did. I
Mhm.
tried once recently, took it down. It's that the altar building thing again. The reason why I didn't do it before was because it still didn't sit right with me with my prior Christian beliefs.
Yes.
You don't build an altar for the dead. You don't do that,
Yes. Yes.
And so I just couldn't wrap my mind around it, figure out how to do it. And so one thing that I had to do was while I was like, I need to take a bath, a spiritual bath. And I got everything together, had my sound bowls on blast, playing it through from my phone, through speakers, and then had my candles lit, had all sorts of herbs in my bathtub, incense lit, had some what's that resin we
Copal.
like to burn? Copal, yeah.
Copal. Mhm.
Had that burning, and I had my journal, and I was like, I think I'm gonna have to write some stuff out. And things were just flowing.
Mhm.
And I was just like, okay, grandma, I've let everything out. This is not my pain.
Right.
This is not my pain.
Release.
Even yeah, even I also had recently known at the time that my great grandmother, who was the father of the excuse me, she's the mother of the grandfather that I don't have any interest in tapping into.
Mhm.
Um, she, if the story is correct, she had a baby very young, like 14. She had
Mhm.
my grandfather that young.
Mhm.
And she is an indigenous woman that was living in Jamaica
Mm.
who, ooh, I'm going public with this, who had a baby by either Scottish or Irish man, an
Okay.
older, much, much older man.
Okay.
So um, she's a child,
Mhm.
whereas he was not. So
Mhm.
do with that, that it doesn't sound right. So she
Right.
was actually there with me. As I'm in the bathtub, I feel and I see them, and they're there outside of the bathtub, just standing there. And I'm like, I don't want this pain anymore.
Wow.
And so I went through like
Wow.
writing, talking to them, like, I know this is what you guys lived and we need to release this. So I had to feel it was like a pouring of just the sensation of all of the wrongdoings, all of the pain that they had to go through in their lifetime. All of that was like in me, flowing through the top of my head, going out my feet,
Wow.
flowing through over and over as I'm in the water, and the water was supporting me, which is I love water.
Yeah.
And I like it was very, very moving. I'm glad that no one was actually kids were asleep.
Yeah. Yeah.
But no one else was home. Like I had my time. I had, it was lots of crying, and after that I thought that I had released my grandmother
Yes.
from me at that time.
Yes.
And so, which is why she had recently come back and was like, hey, no, I'm the one that's actually still helping you.
I'm still here.
And
I'm still here.
yes, and I'm
Yes.
still here. Yes,
Yes.
yes, yes.
Yes.
But I do. I still want to build that altar. I looked into um not really looked into it, but have, following like Chani, she has like altar suggestions, and
Yes.
listening to some of the spiritual leaders that I follow, where they're like, an altar doesn't have to be like a designated spot at all times. It can be different. It could be something you pack up, whatever, you know.
Right. Right.
So
Right.
I am going to look into that more, but
Yeah, you should. And
yeah.
thank you for sharing that spiritual bath experience.
Hmm.
It's very powerful, and that made me think of something. You know, obviously, we know science can explain things, and the reason why we have certain ailments or have certain diseases or just things that are going on with us. Um, it can be explained scientifically, but there's also energy. And we know that we carry our ancestors' pain. We know that.
Hmm.
It's in our DNA, it's in our blood, and that is a very real experience that you had. And that's why it's healing to us, because we're able to recognize it, speak to it, and then release it.
Hmm.
And that's, I mean, hello, fibroids. We, as women, we are in our grandmother's womb. We are eggs. Our we so we've experienced things that our grandmothers have experienced, that our mothers have experienced. We've carried that, and that was a part of also healing. Healing my womb too, is releasing the pain. And so I'm glad that you brought that up, because that is an aspect that it's like we're talking about it, but there's connections here. There's connections with everything. Like, it's not just like, hey, I'm losing weight. Like, you're energetically releasing things also. Okay, I'm
Right.
healing. I'm healing my womb. Okay, you have to release that energetically. Spiritually,
Right.
you need to heal too. It's not just, okay, I'm gonna go have surgery and get it fixed. No, the problem is gonna manifest and show up in your body in a different way, because it's energetic and
Exactly.
it's spiritual. So, and that's exactly why we started
Yes.
this podcast, to highlight that and to share that with people. This is real life. These are real life experiences that we have had within the last 2 years. So we can speak
Yes.
to it. We can speak to it.
Yes. And
Yeah.
you're sharing more about your the fact that you've been healing your womb, and I don't think I've been clear that I've been doing the same thing. Mine is just a little different because what my womb health issue is a prolapse, a uterine prolapse,
Mm.
which means that the uterus is no longer in its place, it's dropped down. And so I knew that I'm shaking again. I knew that it was a result of a spiritual issue that I was
Mhm.
having. I'm like,
Mhm.
there's something going wrong. And that is when my grandmother showed up and was showing me all these things.
Mhm.
And so I am still on this healing path of what can I do? Yes, I went to the physical therapy route. I um, you know, have learned now how to live with it and how to assist in the reversal physically.
Mhm. Mhm.
But what I'm working on now is assisting with the reversal spiritually.
Spiritually.
With the Eckhart Tolle, he calls the body different, in its different forms. So he calls like your emotions the emotional body.
Mhm.
What is your emotional body like?
Mhm.
And that's what I've been working with. And I realize that um, that has been the key to feeling good.
Yeah.
It's just it's in the emotional body, and I think that um, understanding that our womb, as women, our womb is our pathway. It's the center of creation, and so my womb issue was a signal of, hey, you're not creating something, you're not putting something out there, there's something going wrong, that, or excuse me, not necessarily going wrong, but there is some way that you're not living in your truth.
Yes.
What are you not
Yes.
doing?
Yes. Yes.
How are you not serving yourself?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, that is gonna take us into our next segment, Living in Your Truth. Is I said what I said. Our manifestation
Yes.
segment where we either share listener manifestation success stories, share our own manifestation success stories, or just talk about manifesting, how it's done. Um, so just simply manifesting, in simple terms of why this segment is called I Said What I Said. I don't know if everybody knows where that saying came from. Housewives over here, listen, watcher. So it's like I said what I said. So when you manifest, it's obviously important to speak it out and make an agreement with yourself and stand firm in that. And a particular story that I have is when I was graduating from nursing school, I was looking for, obviously, I had different criteria. I knew where I wanted to work. I needed, obviously, you all need a job when you get out of school because I had stopped one career to start another one. But I was very adamant in wanting somebody that was going to mentor me and train me, somebody that was good, somebody that was phenomenal, somebody that was black, somebody that was a leader in on the floor and in the hospital. Um and I was very specific in that. I knew that I was going to be the only black person. I lived in Indianapolis, Indiana, probably on a shift working. So I wanted somebody that truly cared. A lot of times when you in nursing, when you first start out, you're starting a job and the people that are training you, they don't care. They it's just extra money for them. They're just doing it because they have to. They need a staff, so they're about to train you. And I was so I would just tell my friends, yeah, I'm looking for a job. I need this and this and this. But you know what I really want? I need somebody that's gonna train me. I need somebody that's gonna be black. I need somebody that's gonna mentor me. I need somebody that's gonna teach me how to be a good nurse. Like I want to work at a good place. I want good benefits, but that is what I really want. And I kept saying it to different friends, different people that I would talk to. And when it came down to it, like I had to get a job that met certain criteria because I had got a scholarship with the federal government and it met that criteria. 15 minutes from my house. And day one, my preceptor, shout out to her, introduces herself to me. And she's a beautiful black woman, strong leader nurse that said, "Hi, what's your name? I'm Christina. I'm going to be training you." Like she's very like charismatic. And I'm like, oh shoot. Like it was Thanksgiving weekend. I had started my job. I had my hair in like these old twists. I immediately went home, took my hair out, did my hair, made sure I showed up to it because
Oh.
her hair makeup was beat. Like we mind you, we worked at night. Her
Mhm.
makeup was beat. She looked amazing. Like her scrubs were amazing. Had her name on her scrubs. Just like, oh yeah, I'm Christina. I'm coming in here. How are you? And
Mm.
it wasn't all talk, it wasn't all show. She was
Mhm.
hard on me. She took pride in me. She wanted me to know, like, I'm training you. These are the other people that I train. You see how they're doing? That's gonna be you.
Okay.
Like yeah, I'm training you. Like you represent me. So you better get on this. She had me leaving one morning in tears because I had forgot to chart uh we had to do 4 hour like input intake and out, like how we had to measure somebody's urine output. So I
Mhm.
hadn't put like a 12 a.m. urine output, and she was like, you see this? She was looking through my trunk. She was like, you see this is missing. And she was like, one time I missed a urine output, and the man, we had to rush him to the ICU because like
Oh
she
my
just,
goodness.
girl, I was crying like, oh, these people gonna die. I don't know what to do.
Oh.
She was hard on me because she was like, you have to be
Mhm.
on top of your stuff. You have to chart. You have to be organized. You have to be
Mhm.
able to look back at your chart and see your whole night. See
Mm.
what happened. Paint the picture of this patient. Don't be halfway. And so while I was in the moment, I'm like, dang, this lady is really hard. I loved her. I still do. I
Mhm.
adore that lady, and everybody that comes in contact with her loves her too. And they're like, can you train me? Can you train me? And she's the reason why I am the nurse that I am today. But I'm looking back like, dang, I manifested that.
Hmm.
I said it, and I was saying it, and I didn't even realize the person that God had me, that had me wait was waiting for me. He
Yeah.
lined that up for me.
Yeah. And she was perfect for you because you're one of those people that's like, I'm gonna cross all my T's and dot all my I's.
Yes.
I love that.
Yes, she not only was a great nurse, but she looked good doing it. She took pride in how she
Hmm.
looked. She took pride in what people thought about her. And so I manifested that. You can
Oh.
it's that simple. It's that simple. Like, so when you are somebody said something last night on a live, and so I was thinking about, today and what I was going to share, but it was, when you are manifesting, you have to think big, and you have to be
Hmm.
specific. You can't just say, I want to be successful. What does success look like to you? Is it making millions of dollars? Is
Hmm.
it having, an impact on a certain amount of people? Is it being able to make deals and decisions? Is it having freedom in certain areas of your life? What is success? And
Yeah.
and be specific in that and speak it out. So
Hmm.
that was
That's true. I love that. That's amazing.
yeah.
Because I know you really were with somebody who enjoyed their job,
Yeah.
and that is so important. Like you saw her, and you like, oh, let me get myself together because now it's time.
Yeah.
This is the time that I asked for is here. And
Yes.
that's good. I love that. And you see her enthusiasm was transferable, which I'm sure you took that away, with what you have done now, like after that. And that's something that what I take away from the story too is not only just do what you love, but show people that you love it.
Yeah.
Like, don't be afraid to, like really show up as your true self because I'm sure, because there's always a hater. I'm sure that people probably looked at her and was like, "You doing too much? Why do you
Mhm.
have to look like this coming to work? Or why, Because
Mhm.
I've been to the hospital many times and seen that there are nurses who, kind of look like they're in their PJs,
Mhm.
versus in scrubs at work.
Mhm. Mhm.
So, and that's something that I actually told the kids last night. Um, what was it? My son. I forgot what it was that he said, but it was something so specific. It was something about school, something about his grades, and it was something like super specific. And I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, Jaden, good job. Like, that's exactly how you pray.
Mhm.
It's not just saying, I want to be well or do well with this. It's, I want it to be like this. Like, tell God exactly what you're looking for,
Yes.
exactly how you want it to look, because it's just going to come any which way
Right.
at that point. Like, um, so there's always those jokes like, God, I know I prayed for this, but like, can it be like this instead?"
Right.
And
Right.
it's not like God is not giving you, lackluster stuff, but it's like it's
Right.
going, what you're looking for is what's going to come. What you're
Exactly.
putting that request in for is coming.
Right.
So if you want it a certain way, you better say how you want it.
Yes.
'Cause it's gonna come any which way.
Yes. Yes, it is.
I love that story.
Yes, thank you. Yeah. So now we're gonna move on to I got an herb for that.
I got a note for that.
Yes. So the herb that we're going to be talking about today is hibiscus for
Yes.
obvious reasons.
Right. I love hibiscus. I mean, we both. If you are West Indian, Caribbean, hibiscus is really important. It is our culture.
Mhm.
Even those who are Mexican,
Yes.
and there may actually be others,
Hmm.
but in the West Indies we call it sorrel.
Sorrel.
Yes. Because we're in Florida, Alyssa, I'm going to go into a little bit of the science, or more. It is native to Florida.
Hmm.
It is called the Florida cranberry. So, You may see it here, that people do all sorts of stuff with Florida cranberry. So if you're looking for the plant, look for Florida cranberry, not hibiscus, because hibiscus is a range of many different plants, like the okra um, vegetable, is grows from like a type of hibiscus plant.
Mhm.
But Florida cranberry, which is not cranberry hibiscus. I just saw this post last night. Someone had a cranberry hibiscus plant and they were like, "Wait, is this sorrel?" And
Mhm.
people were like, "No, that Florida cranberry." It's crazy
It's
how particular,
it's
how
the
precise we have to
roselle.
get.
It's the
Yes,
roselle.
Roselle hibiscus is what we love, and I drink it all the time. I love it.
Yes, yes.
Love
Well,
it so
yeah, the
much.
the sorrel drink, I mean, obviously West Indian people know we fix it up with cinnamon and ginger and allspice, and we make it sweet. Um so I mean cloves, I mean all those good warming spices we use. And I discovered it obviously on my womb healing journey when we came back from Costa Rica. Sorrel was always something that my grandmother's West Indian. She's Panamanian. She that's her go to drink. She loves it. Like I remember every time she came to Orlando, my mom would have to go to the health food store or Leaves and Roots to get her hibiscus for her to make. She would always make a big pot of
Wow.
it, and it would
Mhm.
last like the entire time that she was there. She would just drink it, drink it, drink it.
Mhm.
And now that when I discovered it, I'm like, she literally was drinking medicine. Like it lowers
Mhm.
your blood pressure, it regulates your blood sugar, it's antibacterial, it like. And then I just found out last night, Jessica, I didn't even know that. Okay, so it is in a menagogue. And
Mhm.
if you are in the lactation or birth working field, and a menagogue is something, it's a substance that brings the blood forth, meaning it promotes blood flow to your uterus. So it stimulates your menstruation.
Mhm.
Um, Meaning that it can be used. It has been shown, it has been scientifically researched. There's so many different studies. So this herb has been scientifically researched over and over again. There's thousands of studies. I can link an article in particular that has like at least 50 studies done to show that it does lower the blood pressure, it does bring on menstruation, it does regulate your blood sugar, it does promote weight loss. Um, but it contains potassium, it contains magnesium, it also, let me see. Oh, vitamin C. It's heavy in iron, which is great if you are, are menstruating. It replaces that iron back that you're losing when you're menstruating. But it there's a study that they've shown. Now it was not a study on humans, but they have shown that at very high concentrated levels, approximately 400 milligrams per kilogram of body weight, it can be used to prevent egg implantation in the womb.
Oh, snap.
So we over
Wow.
here talking about taking our power back because there's a system that's taking away certain rights.
Yeah.
There is medicine around us. There's research that
Mhm.
shows that it can be used as a contraceptive
Mm.
because
That's amazing.
yes, that this particular plant, it mimics estrogen in the body. And so because of that, it prevents egg implantation. If there's high, that's why you
Wow.
take estradiol, like it's just like a pill, a birth control pill.
Mhm.
You're taking it so
Mhm.
that an egg won't implant. That's exactly what it did. And here we go. We're talking about indigenous people. I saw that indigenous people used it to prevent pregnancy.
Wow. See, I didn't know any of this.
Yes. I was like,
That's crazy.
wow. Now, of course, it's very high concentrated levels,
Mhm.
but we have medicine available to us. We have to
Mhm.
empower ourselves. We have to empower
Mhm.
ourselves and know that we are not powerless. We are not. We don't have to depend on systems to have certain things in our life.
Yeah.
Now
Yeah.
because I am the birth working realm, and because I do sell it in one of my womb teas, I have to share that it's also because it brings forth the blood, it can cause cramping and it can cause early labor. So when I was pregnant, I only consumed it in my third trimester. I
Mm,
recommended that people didn't consume it in the first and second trimester because it can just cause cramping, and obviously you don't want to be cramping when you're pregnant.
mhm,
So
mhm.
that was just a small disclaimer that I had. But I also found out too, and I'm gonna tell my mom this because my I gave my mom some womb tea, and I hope she's drinking it. But it's also was researched in hormone replacement therapy for people in menopause. Like it
Really?
has that much estrogen, like it produces that much estrogen. Well, that
Mm,
doesn't produce, but it mimics that much estrogen that
mhm,
it can be used as hormone replacement therapy for people
mm.
in
You
menopause.
know, yeah, that's great. It's we have to know what we can use when we need it,
Thank you.
and that is amazing. You're educating me. I know that, like, for me, when I drink it, it makes, I call it my wellness tea because I mix it with some jasmine tea.
Mhm.
And, when I don't want to have all the spices. But it just makes me feel good because I have the sickle cell trait. And it
Mm.
is recommended as an herb. Sorrel is recommended as an herb for people who do have the sickle cell trait because it helps with moving oxygen throughout the body.
Mhm.
And that is, with the sickle cell trait, with some of my red blood cells being sickled, which means they're abnormally formed. They're not, the typical round blood cell. It means that I can't handle things like extreme heat, high altitudes. My body is just more sensitive than the average person.
Mhm.
And I found that the Florida heat that we have in the summer,
Yeah.
I love to be outdoors so much, but it does take a lot out of me. When I'm drinking sorrel, if I'm drinking that, what I would do is replace water with
Mhm.
unsweetened just tea.
Mhm.
I would of course dilute it though, because
Mhm.
it is it's a very potent medicine.
Yes.
Um, and I would feel perfectly fine. When we were on the retreat in Costa Rica, I thought I wasn't going to have it. I
Mhm.
was like, oh shoot, I need my sorrel every day. And then they had it there,
They had it.
and I was able to be drinking on it while we were walking through the jungle. Yeah, that was a magical experience, and that in of itself.
Yes.
Um, and to be able to still take that in, and now to find out all this stuff, I'm like,
Yep.
let me go back to drinking it. I was making it the other day. I was like, let me go back to drinking this every day
Yeah. Yeah, and
because it's
that's
good.
yeah, and that's why I like that we're doing this segment, is because obviously we know about these herbs, but like you said, I put it down too. Like I haven't
Hmm.
I and it really is because I was pregnant. And so when I was got into my
Yeah.
third trimester, I was happy to be able to drink it again, but I stopped making it. And even my dad, like he found that it helps lower high blood pressure. He makes it and drinks it. Like that's he said one of his friends drinks it
Mm.
every day because his friend has high blood pressure. And it
Wow.
yeah. Yeah. So it's like even men, like it's not just a herb for your womb or for women, but it's
Hmm.
red for a reason. It's good for your blood. So
I want to yes, it's red for a reason. I've been educating people on that when they're like, "What
mhm,
can I use for this? What can I use for that?" And I'm like, the word is not coming to mind right now, but the way that you can tell, because it's a word for this, the way that you can tell what a plant is going to help you with is just based on how the plant looks.
mhm,
What is the plant doing? And it's red like blood because it helps the blood,
it helps
and
the
it helps
blood.
to bring on the blood,
Yes.
and several different ways, several different aspects of that. But I want to tell people where they can get it.
Yes.
If you're, especially those who are in areas that may not have access to produce that much, so you can go to any Caribbean shop, right?
Mhm.
And For those who are live in more of a Mexican focused or Hispanic focused community, it's called Flor de Jamaica.
Mm-hmm.
and you can get it from any of the
Markets.
markets, yeah, like the
Mm-hmm.
farmers markets that they have,
Grocery store,
and
Mexican grocery store.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and let's see if you're in like you can get it from Jamaican shops, you can get it from Guyanese, Trinidadian, Panamanian, think
Mm-hmm.
any island or Caribbean or a lot of the different ethnic food places,
Mm-hmm.
restaurants or supermarkets. You can find them there, and I highly recommend trying it. And don't, not everybody likes everything. We had a conversation the other day where we said, like, some people will try something and then just be like, oh, I don't like it, and not try it again.
Right. Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
encourage our listeners, if you don't like the herbs that we're talking about in one way, please experiment and try it another way.
In a different
If you don't
way.
like drinking the tea, the sorrel, let's say you try it hot. You don't like it hot? Try it with the spices that Alyssa mentioned, the ginger, the allspice, or in Jamaica we call it pimento, the cloves,
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes we mix it with rum.
Oh yeah.
Like try it in
Sometimes,
all
all the
sorts of ways. You
time.
can, yes, make it into popsicles, like make it into a tea. I like to make a lemonade with it.
Mm-hmm.
There's a multitude of ways that it can be used,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, even medicinally. But I'm not gonna get into that right now.
Yes, yes. Well, that's what they were saying, that the extract, the hibiscus extract, was used in a menopausal study. And the reason why it was
Mm,
done, well, the reason why this particular article was talking about it is because a lot of hormone replacement therapies increase your risk of stroke, heart attack,
mm,
blood clots, pulmonary
mhm,
embolisms. So you, or DVTs, like blood clots in your legs and stuff. And so this has
mhm.
been proven as a natural hormone replacement therapy that does not. It's they called it a risk free hormone replacement, a natural risk-free
Wow.
hormone replacement, because it doesn't cause, it actually reverses the issues with your blood.
Yes.
It doesn't
Everybody's
cause.
looking for that.
Yep. Yep.
Everybody is looking for that.
Yeah.
So many people come to my booth and they're like, "What can I do? Because there's too many side effects."
Yep.
And but I will say there are plants that do have some of side effects
Yes.
depending on the plant, but it's amazing that they found that this one doesn't.
Yes. Yes.
That's really good. I love that. I
Yes.
love that for
Yeah.
us.
Hello. Yes. Okay. And so now we get into my one of my, it's the last segment, but it's like the favorite one, witchy shit.
Witchy
Witchy
shit.
shit. And so, what's witchier than Disney?
Mm,
That's
mm.
what is witchier than Disney? We know that that is a magical place.
Hello.
I was just there this weekend, which is why I sound hoarse. But I love Disney. We all love Disney. Our kids love Disney. But hello, Disney is witchy. It's
Hmm.
been witchy since it started.
Extremely.
Yeah.
Very,
Yeah.
very.
Yeah.
I just, okay. I want to pick up on a conversation that I told you. I was like, we're saving this for the podcast
I know.
because yes, in all of the movies, not just that it's blatantly witchy, like Encanto, it's
Yes.
about a magical family,
Yes.
right? Elena of Avalor, another magical family,
Yes.
and a fairy godmother ancestor coming to visit Cinderella to tell her, "Come on, get ready for the ball, girl. You got to get to your next stage of life. You're not going to do this forever."
Right. Yes.
Right? Look at you in the dress. Like, yes, that is extremely witchy. And I do have to say that one of the Disney movies that is very witchy, but I think it's more on a very subtle end, is Frozen.
Yeah.
It is Frozen.
Yeah.
Um, and I made a career switch from teaching to entrepreneurship, and Frozen is the movie that helped me
What?
from,
Jessica knows how I feel about
yes.
Frozen. I'm not a Frozen fan. It's unpopular opinion. I'm not a Frozen fan. I'm just not, because
Mm,
I would like it to be a little bit more multicultural, aka
it
black,
can't.
aka black.
It can't.
I know, but I'm like, okay, we've had Disney princesses of certain races for so long. Like now that we have other options, that is what I am choosing to display in my household at the time. Now that I have a
Yes.
a 3-year-old.
Yes. But see, look, I can respect that and I agree, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And I felt like that about Frozen as well until I saw Frozen 2.
See, I
In
didn't watch it.
Frozen 2, Anna and Elsa, their parents were not supposed to be together. The mom is from a tribe. The mom is magical. The mom has a gift, which right now I can't necessarily remember what that gift is.
Mm.
The mom is from a native tribe.
Wow.
The dad is not. The dad is the sailor. The dad is the voyager that, I would say
Oh.
maybe Viking kind of thing. He comes from that type of family.
Oh,
And
wow.
so the major thing is Anna and Elsa. I'm getting chills
Me too. Why I'm getting
because I feel
why?
like this movie Frozen 2 really helped me in so many ways. Anna and Elsa, the reason why Elsa had to be secluded was because her ancestors came to her and had to speak to her. Now is your time to come and find out the truth, because their parents both died. She had to
Oh.
go and find out the truth of what happened to her parents, what happened in the past with their ancestors. It was the father's ancestors that did terrible things to their tribe. And it was the answers were provided to her through water.
My mouth is open.
And so they,
Exactly what we've been
yes,
talking about this entire time.
yes, yes,
What?
yes.
You see Disney.
She, right. And Disney, they doctor it up. They make it seem, oh, how cute. That's so nice. No, bitch, do this in real life. You can do this in real life.
She went and found her ancestor and ancestor story, healed her lineage, found out the story.
Nearly died. Nearly died doing it. It was a whole trek, yeah, they came to her and they showed her this is your mom's tribe, this is your father's family, this is what happened. Anna and Elsa went back to their tribe and they're like, but we're her daughter. This is because she doesn't look like them. They are their
Oh.
mom's tribe. They're brown people.
Oh,
They're very
wow.
native looking, long black hair, like very native. Yeah.
Oh, well, I need to
And
go and
so
watch it
they weren't
then.
even, oh, yes, you do.
Oh my
Yes.
goodness. Oh, wow.
Yes.
See, why couldn't that be the first movie though?
I
You
know.
know?
But see, it's because in the first movie she had to let go of everything.
That's
That's,
true. That
that's
is
why she was
true.
singing Let It Go. She can't hold back. She had to let her powers go. She had to be secluded and separated from everyone so that she can develop, much
Yeah.
like what I feel like I have been having to do myself.
Yeah.
Ha, you know, put a little bubble wrap around yourself while you are developing, especially spiritually,
Mhm.
until you're able to come out. And so she just left room for her own development. Even, I mean, the storyline is where like even her sister, she had to push her sister to the side because the sister's like, "What's going on?
Oh,
Don't you
wow.
love me anymore? Do you want to build a snowman like we used to?
Right.
Come on, sis, where
Yeah.
you at?"
Yeah.
And she's like, "It's not that I don't love you; it's that I'm going through something."
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
yeah, it's a magical, miraculous story that um, is fiction, but it's fiction that stems from truth, I
Okay.
believe.
It has to, cause Disney is like what? Like we're gonna do a whole episode on not Disney, but the Hollywood rollout of the
Mhm.
last these big major movies that have come out. Way of the Water. Stay tuned.
Yeah.
But like what? Disney is tapped in, and it's only when you are awake that you look at it.
Mhm.
Like I definitely like encourage everybody to go and look at things like when you have a different mindset and when you're awakened
Mhm.
to go back and watch things or read certain things because you're
Yeah.
now like, oh shoot, I missed this.
Yes.
Wow. Okay, I'm gonna have to go
Yeah.
back. I'm gonna have to go back.
The you yes you do. Yes you do. The water is important. I'm a look, second time I'm saying it now.
Yeah. Okay, Jessica, I'm gonna have
Second
to
time.
go back and watch it. But see, and that's so crazy too because the movie's called Frozen.
Mm, mm. I didn't catch that. Don't know why. But you're
Chills
right.
again. The movie is called
Yes.
Frozen.
Yes. I
What?
was once frozen. Hmm.
Yes. Oh wow. Are they coming out with a third one?
I know, right? Girl, I don't know because yeah, that last one, Elsa was on her horse. She's now the queen. They recognized her as the queen of not just Arendelle, but the queen of, I think of the tribe too. Like
Wow.
the sisters were able to, you know, basically smooth everything over
Wow.
with everyone.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. You see that? That is so crazy. Well,
Hmm.
yes, thank you. I'm glad you shared that for the podcast because I was like, I don't want to talk about no. I'm not trying to highlight Frozen because that is not multicultural. I do not like you. Look, you know me.
Yeah, I
But
know.
yeah, thank you for sharing that, Jessica. I'm gonna go and watch it now too. I'm gonna sit
Yes.
down. They'll be like, "Why are you watching these movies?" Like, Alina's not even watching this. I'm like, "Cause it's good."
Because it's Disney. Because it's Disney. Disney takes um adult elements, adult storylines, and applies it to make it look cutesy for
Yeah,
kids.
yeah,
But
yeah.
that's why us 90s kids are different
Yes,
because we had a different age of Disney when they started to really get into the thick of things.
yes,
And you know, yeah.
yeah, and that's why Disney is so full of Disney adults now, and they can't, the
True.
lines are so freaking long. I was just there this weekend, and my dad was like, when we brought you guys to Disney, it wasn't as many adults." And I'm like, "Yeah, these are Disney adults. These are all the kids that came when they were little, and now they've grown up. And even if they don't, if they have
Mhm,
kids, they don't want to come with their kids. We want to
mhm.
experience." And I recently took a Epcot trip with my friend group too. It's like we want to experience this by ourselves.
I'm going on Thursday.
Oh gosh, Jessica has a friend that
Hmm.
can get free Disney tickets, so she goes like once every other week.
Yeah.
Now that I've
It's
moved back
fun.
to Florida, I will be going a lot. I will be going.
Hmm.
Yes.
It's a workout though, but yeah,
Well,
it's
hey, we
good.
we need that
This
too.
this
I
was
know
an
I
amazing
did
episode.
13,000 steps on Sunday. That's how many steps I did.
13,000?
13,000 Animal Kingdom.
What?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yes. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Uh-huh. But yes, that concludes this episode of Keep Expecting Miracles. Thank you guys for listening. Bye bye.
Bye.